Every month we sit down with our local leaders getting updates about things happening in the city. Here at KOCO 5 News at 11, we always sit down with Oklahoma City Police Chief Ron Basie, who's with us in studio right now. Chief, we appreciate you, as always, for taking some time. You're here actually just a couple weeks ago, so it's not been too long. But since we've last talked, we had that incident down at Scissortail Park. I wanted to start with the tough stuff here first. It was a shooting involving young people, which has been a topic we've talked about in the past. In this case, at Scissortail Park, it was a 13-year-old that had a gun, pulled out the gun, and shot a 15-year-old, grazed by a bullet. She's going to be okay, but just, we've talked about this, and I know it's frustrating for you to have to keep talking about it, but I mean, we're at this point where this teen violence doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. And what has been your reaction to this most recent one? A 13-year-old suspect. I mean, that's alarming when we say that out loud, right?
Absolutely. We had officers in the area who were there when it occurred, and fortunately we're able to apprehend him prior to anyone else getting hurt. But it's shocking and alarming that kids that young have access to weapons. It's something that I've preached and talked about for the longest time, is that, as a village, it takes a village to raise a child, and we're only part of that village. So it's not to point the finger at anyone. The Oklahoma standard is not about pointing the finger. Mm-hmm. It's about figuring out how to help each other. And we have young children who have access to weapons and a lack of maturity and a sense of a lack of sanctity of life, and they act immaturely, and it results in tragedy. And so, yeah, it's shocking and alarming. We as a police department try to give positive resources to the community with our outreach programs and give them healthy alternatives. But I think, I'm going to urge every guardian, parent, every church, every school, be diligent. It's amazing how shocked people are when they find out their kids had access to weapons, or they're gang affiliated, or they were hanging with a bad group of people. But we really need that community to be involved and help guide them on the right path.
We talk about that. You bring that up, access to weapons. Is that where we think they're getting these guns from, a parent, or do we have any idea how does a 13-year-old get a gun? A whole different thing is why they would bring it down to the park and use it, but how do they get the gun in the first place? Do we know?
Well, Cameron, that's the $1,000,000 question.
Right.
If you go to our social media, you see we have a ticker tape where we count the number of weapons that are stolen from vehicles. And amazingly, several of those vehicles are unlocked. So I'm not going to point the finger at any one particular person or source. Kids are resourceful, and they get their hands on things we would prefer them not to have, whether it's drugs, alcohol, or firearms. But again, it usually ends in tragedy.
And I know you guys ramped up the presence downtown, especially, we have a game tonight. Scissortail Park is going to be extremely secure. I also think about, Chief, that we're going into the summer months when it comes to this teen violence, and kids are going to be out of school, out and about more often at night. Does the department change their strategy in any way when we get into the summer months, and does it become even more hyper-focused now that we know kids are going to be out and about? And maybe the curfew thing I know we've talked about in the past, too, getting parents to make sure they know where their kids are when it gets late at night.
Absolutely. We live in an age where technology does a lot of the work for you. There are tracking apps on phones that allow you to know where your children are and your young adults are. As a police department, we have to be hyper vigilant on where we're going to see large pools of people and a potential for violence. If you remember, a couple of years ago, Bricktown had large number of incidents involving juveniles, and we had to enact a curfew ordinance there, and it seems to have helped curtail some of that violence. Not all of it, but some. And so we'll probably look at doing some things like that in the future as we identify areas that may be problematic.
We all want to see an end to the violence involving our young people. It's just been ridiculously it's too much recently. I wanted to go to that officer-involved shooting that happened not long ago, Chief. That was on Wednesday, May 20th. It was a woman who was inside her apartment firing off gunshots. You guys responded. She ended up shooting at the officers, and then there was an officer-involved shooting, 45-year-old Brenda Deere, who ended up dying in that. I don't know. How does it change when you're responding to a call like that for an officer? I can't imagine when you know that gunshots are already going off. I know you guys called in some extra backup that day. Would you speak to that case there and kind of what's been happening there?
Well, there's not a lot I can say. It's an ongoing investigation, but what I can tell you is that in an occupied apartment complex, when someone's firing off rounds, that's extremely dangerous, not only for the officers, but anyone in the immediate area. It's unfortunate that it ended this way, but I will tell you that our tactical team was there for hours and tried to end this as peaceably as possible. Unfortunately, it didn't end that way, and again, it's an ongoing investigation.
I wanted to ask about Sergeant Megan Burke. I know that it was National Police Week not long ago, and that you had some of your officers. You were there in Washington D.C. for a special moment, right? They unveiled her name on a monument there. Did you want to talk about that and Sergeant Burke herself and the legacy that she leaves behind with the department?
So one of the things I'll tell you about Megan is that, she was a former collegiate soccer player, and she carried that into her law enforcement career. She was a PAL coach, and she coached soccer. She also worked with our Youth Leadership Academy, so she loved kids, and she really invested in them. And losing her was really hard for us as a department and a police family. We're grateful that she is going to be remembered for her service to her community, but also saddened by the fact that she's still not with us.
Absolutely. Well, glad that you guys at least got to do that and be a part of that. Chief, we appreciate you as always so much for coming in, giving us updates here every month. We look forward to seeing you back here not long from now, and just keep us updated. Go Thunder tonight. How about that?
Go Thunder.